Hello, Virgo. Welcome in. Welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing a psychic tarot reading for you, tuning in to the day's energy, seeing what divine messages of guidance come through. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. Looking for current present day energies. Thank you. What's hidden? Outcome and advice. Here we go. All right. Let's get to your reading. And, oh, lovely. Okay. Virgo, in the past, we've got the base chakra in reverse. Blocked base chakra. So your base chakra is where you sit. Let me demonstrate. It's low down at the bottom of the seat of the traditional chakra systems. Your base chakra deals with your physical reality, the 3D world around you, your body, beliefs about the physicality that you're experiencing, your health. So there's a block in your base chakra in the past, some type of limiting block. Beautiful. Wow. There's a new opportunity coming in, bringing a lot of clarity, a lot of joy. Thank you. Wow. Oh my gosh. In the past, you've got this new energy coming in, Ace of Cups and Ace of Pentacles. What's interesting is a lot of times I talk about the Ace of Pentacles as a seed. It's not in its full form, but if you plant that seed in the right place, make sure it gets sunlight, make sure it gets enough water, then it feels like you can grow this pentacle into what you want. And it does feel, because the Ace of Cups is coming up, that it's heart-based. It's something you want to grow, something you're really excited about growing in your environment, this opportunity. It's bringing you a lot of happiness. It's very you. It feels very soul-fulfilling, whatever this is. Wonderful. And there's also a block. Feels like the environment that you're in is not conducive, is not the right soil. So you've got the light, the sunlight, the energy, the clarity, the excitement to grow this potential. You love whatever this is. It feels very you. Something that you are excited about growing. But it doesn't feel like anything's growing in this environment. And it's so upsetting and disappointing that this environment is not conducive. It feels like it's hard to ignore that you're in the wrong environment to grow what it is you want to grow. Anything else? Oh boy. All right. This is really crowded. It feels like you're in a space that, boy, It feels like there's a group of people in your environment around you that they don't like what you're wanting to create. They have a problem. So there's something in the environment. For one thing, it doesn't feel like you're happy in this environment, that it's disappointing. On the other end, it feels like you're surrounded by people who don't want this for you. They don't want you to grow this. It doesn't fit with their mind's eye. Okay, the people I'm tuned into, there's very judgmental. There's one energy that feels it's a feminine energy, and this energy, they've got a mindset of how things need to be, and it doesn't feel like you don't meet these requirements by this toxic feminine's belief systems. I feel like this feminine around you, you can feel the lack of care for you. The disgust is barely, thinly veiled. From that energy, I'm going to move on because there's a couple energies here. There's another energy. This one's much more manipulative, manipulates others. The first energy has got a strong mindset and very rigid belief systems, and thinks that you need to cooperate, you need to toe the line, you need to get back in line kind of energy. This other energy is more subtle, more manipulative, manipulates people's emotions. In a way, the second energy is much more sinister because they're better at hiding. Feels like that first feminine energy, uh, you could see they don't really, they're struggling to be kind to you. And the second toxic feminine energy is much more manipulative, better at creating a mask and making you think that they're friends, they're on your side, but they're not. They're The second toxic feminine energy is much more adept at manipulating kind of covertly masculine energies. And so let's talk about the third energy in the past is this toxic masculine. This masculine energy feels very much in their wounds, and so they don't like emotions at all. They're coming off as cold. This masculine might think that emotions make you weak, and so they don't understand how to work with emotions, theirs, anyone else's, so they just cut their emotions off. There's a connection that both of these toxic feminines have with this masculine. I think they're all in agreement that you should not create this for yourself. They have big ideas about you and who you need to be and how you need to show up. It looks like you're taking control of your life. And these energies create a lot of blockages for you, a lot of cruel communication, maybe behind the scenes. They make it as cruel and uncomfortable as possible, because you're not, there's something about you creating something for yourself that just rubs whatever it is that you're creating it, what you're creating, that you're doing it. There's no support for you. As a matter of fact, they're trying to actively block this. You're not finding any support. It looks like you're taking control of your life, recognizing, I mean, I hate to spoil the ending here for a lot of you. But we all die in the end of this thing that we're experiencing. There's a definite ending. And it feels like the point in the past that I'm tuned into, you're recognizing, I am not going to be able to convince these people. I'm not going to get their care. They don't care for me or about me. I'm caring more about myself and what I want to create. And there's an exit of this space, and I'm not going to waste another minute allowing people to tell me what I can and can't do. That's kind of what it feels like in the past. A decision. Very powerful. Like, oh my God, I don't want to waste another minute trying to convince people to care about me or for me. I'm just going to go on my own. I'm going to go in another environment and grow this, because you can't. It feels like if you plant the seeds, these people in the environment will chop the seeds down, they'll destroy it, they'll mess it up. And there's a wisdom that comes to in the past of, this is just the wrong environment for me. And so I don't want to waste another minute in trying to convince people. I'm just going to go in the right environment, one that's conducive. All right, to what you want, conducive to what you want. All right, so in current energy, you've got third eye chakra in reverse. So this is where this chakra is. It's how you see the world, your perspective, or whoever third eye chakra in reverse. It feels like there's a block from seeing things clearly. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Shine. So again, the Sun card's coming up. Three of Cups. Nine of Swords reversed. Three of Wands reversed. All right. There's some block in the third eye chakra, some limiting block. We're bringing clarity in, the sunlight. This feels like it's a block, an opportunity that's currently on the table. You're either taking a pass on it, or you're not seeing that it's something you can grow. It feels like there's a potential here for a lot of happy collaboration. So maybe you're getting too much in your head, Nine of Swords, but in reverse. So it's the not getting too caught up, not overthinking things. Not overthinking things. And then I'm getting a message, either it's you're a lot closer to what you want than you think. This helps you establish some type of foundation for yourself, this opportunity. Let's get some clarifying cards. Let's ask, what's the block around this Ace of Pentacles. What's a third eye chakra block? What's the block about? What is Virgo not seeing? Injustice. Justice reverse. There's some, in the Nine of Swords also, there's something, it feels like you might be overthinking something. It feels like you're going back and forth. There's something about working with others, bringing joy. It feels like you're trying to pick the right opportunity. So some of you, it feels like there's a choice point in opportunities. And it feels like what I'm tuned into is there's an opportunity on the table that I'm perceiving in this current energy that feels like putting in a lot of work. It feels daunting. Like this collaboration feels like you might have to do a lot more work without results for that happening, and it feels like that might be the opportunity you want to pass on. And then there's another opportunity that I'm tuned into. It feels like it moves much easier. It feels like this opportunity, there's a lot more clear communication. Everybody's more on the same page. It feels like you have to really work with one potential and put in a lot of the foundational work. It feels daunting, whatever this is, and like it's that's interesting. Maybe because somebody else is taking the lead in that project, in whatever this is, this opportunity, and it feels like might not be space for collaboration, or it just doesn't feel like as much as a fit. It feels like what I'm tuning into is there's a potential for collaborating, where in the past it feels like you had an idea that you wanted to plant and grow and mature, but you were in the wrong environment. Now it feels like you're in a better environment. It feels like you're figuring out who are the right people, who can support, who's on the right. And this isn't about good or bad. This is just the right fit energetically. You might be overthinking something. And it does feel like one opportunity feels like, oh, relief, help. And one it feels like you're trying to make something work. It just might not be a good fit. It has, there might be communication struggles. It feels like both opportunities are amazing, but the inner workings, is this the environment? This is what this reading has been about. Just aligning. It feels like you were learning in the past that you don't have to settle to be in an environment that you don't fit in, that you're not getting the care, the support for what for what you want to create. And now it feels like you're taking the next step in this lesson and figuring out what environments are the right environments for you. There's something about the opportunity that feels like you would like it to work out. You want it to work out, but there's something that's making it really difficult. The people involved, it's not about, as I'm saying, wrong, bad, or anything like that. It's just, is it a good fit? And it feels like you have this amazing opportunity to pick differently than you used to in the past. Pick your opportunities from a different space, how it feels energetically. So I'm pulling it out of your headspace, because it looks like if you try to think your way through this, it just creates more, what should I do? There's something about tuning into how it feels, how the opportunity feels. Does it feel expansive? Does it feel like something you want to be a part of? Or does it feel like, well, I could make it work? Because maybe in the past you made things work, you tolerated a lot, and then found yourself in environments that weren't conducive to your expansion, the care for you. All right, let's look at what's hidden. We have detach. Death card. Detach. This deck is doing my head in. It's an old deck that I've come back to, and it's not the death card. It's justice again. So justice in reverse came up in the current energy around overthinking something out of balance. There's a need to detach, to stay balanced in your thoughts, that the decision won't come until it's time to make the decision. Don't try to rush decisions here. It feels like detaching from anything that's not for you. As soon as you recognize that it's not for you, an opportunity. Trusting that there will be plenty of opportunities that will be the right fit. But you don't want to get bogged down in things that are a 30% fit, a 45% match. You want things that are much more of an easy match. What does Virgo need to know about what's hidden? Anything else that... Thank you. There's something here about taking a mental break to not try to overthink something to find answers. This might be a pattern from your childhood. Worrying, this is like perfect pictures. It needs to be perfect. I need to make the right decision here, instead of doing the best with what you got. For some of you, you could really help future you by, instead of the activity of worry. I'm worried I'm going to make the wrong decision. I'm worried that I'm going to miss an opportunity and say no to something that is for me and it's really not for me. I'm worried that I'm going to pick something in and end up in an environment like I was in the past, surrounded by people that aren't for me, that don't support me. So there's a lot of worries that you might be like making life difficult for yourself with that activity, with worrying. Instead, maybe self-talk like, I'll make the decision when it's time to make the decision, not a moment before. Also, so again, helping future version of you by not creating worries and fears that future you has to sift through. As I'm perceiving the activity of worrying and overthinking something, that you create blocks for yourself in the future. That future you has to deal with those fears that you are placing on your path for future you to have to deal with. So if you want to be a cooperative component in your own manifesting, in your own well-being, releasing from that activity, being conscious about what you're thinking about, what you're tuning into. This isn't helpful. Can I do something else? If I can't think a better thought, can I focus on something and let this dissipate? There's a real worry about worrying, real worrying about repeating patterns, of being taken advantage of as well here, of being in an environment but there's a lot of insecurities here that I'm looking into, that I'm reading into. Okay. Oh, I get it. All right. So how do I, okay. If you engage in worrying, constantly worrying, then that informs your experience. I wouldn't engage in any activity that's the base feeling that I have for it is worry. Even if it's a great opportunity, if all I'm bringing to that opportunity is my worry, then I'm not being a collaborative part of that experience. It's very interesting, subtle energies here. Subtle shifts that it feels like you could it's interesting. I'm tuning in, I'm seeing the collective energies and seeing how can I help? How would this help? Would this help? And it feels like when you have anxiety, when you practice for a long time worrying, that it's really hard to perceive the reality around that. The fear takes up all the energy in the space. It feels like I might be talking to someone who argues for your fears. Is that what you want? No, but this. So you're arguing for your limitations, arguing for your fears. And the question that's coming up is, are you a cooperative component to your own desires and wishes and what you want? Or are you blocking what you want to create for yourself by what you're tuning into, what you're thinking about? It feels like I'm tuned into somebody's energy in what's hidden, that their fears are, you fight for your limitations. You fight for what could go wrong. You fight for, and first thing is, does that make you feel good to think, to say those beliefs? Does that feel good? Then if those beliefs do not make you feel more empowered, more expansive, happy, joyful, then why are you creating them so solidly? Why are you fighting for your fears? There's a real opportunity for you to tune into what you believe can happen, the potential for what happens, and take steps to make that happen. I'm not saying spiritual bypassing, ignore things. I'm saying a different tactic. You're on a mountain bike going down a trail, and you're going down a wonderful trail, wonderful flow. Oh my gosh, there's a boulder in the center of the trail. You have awareness. You see the obstacle. But instead of, if you focus on, oh my gosh, I don't know how the obstacle, then you steer right into that obstacle. Blah. If you are riding your bike, going through life, and then an obstacle comes up, a big boulder in the center of the path, you clock it. I'm aware of it. I'm not ignoring it. I know it exists. But the moment I see the block, now I'm looking for how to get around it. Do I bunny hop over it? Do I just turn around it? Do I go up a little out of bounds off the trail? There are lots of options. You don't have, not every rock do you have to run into. And there's something about your fears and how you think, how you spend your time thinking about yourself, about your world, about what's going on, that might be creating more and more boulders for you to later have to overcome. We create our own reality. So if you don't like the reality you're in, can you create a different way of being? If you don't like what you've created, there's a lot of opportunities other than to keep making it more and more solid. I think you get it. If you're gonna get it, you get what I'm trying to say. So, all right, Virgo, let's move on to the advice and outcome. We've got rebuild and teach. All right, so that's the Tower and the Hierophant. The Tower is about collapsing, a new way of seeing things, letting go of the delusion and coming down to reality. Something suddenly false reality collapses. So it feels like there's something that's ending. It feels like this ending has already happened. It feels like what I'm tuning into with rebuild and teach, it feels like you have gone through a tower or towers. You've gone through collapses of your reality and you've rebuild. And then it feels like you might have something to teach others from going through this collapsing. So it did feel like in the past there was a collapsing of that environment. Doesn't feel like you were welcome. It feels like there were people that weren't for you, didn't want you to grow whatever this is that you wanted to grow. And it feels like you have a real opportunity to learn something really remarkable from what you've gone through, so you can share that wisdom with others. There's an enlightenment here. So this isn't about being perfect. It's about learning as you go, figuring things out. And wow, interesting. So we've got those energies of teaching how to rebuild, teaching from loss, how to, maybe you're teaching yourself. Even if you don't actively have like a teacher role, it feels like you could be a great example for others to attune to look up to. Oh, beautiful. You cannot teach this unless you embody this. Teachers who try to teach from, they've seen something, they have learned something, but they have not really integrated what they've learned into their 3D, into their base chakra, into their life, into their physicality. There's something here, this doesn't work unless you embody the lessons that you're talking about, that you're teaching. It doesn't work if you just have ideas that are unproven. It feels like learning as you go, integrating what you've learned, becoming the vessel of what you've learned. So it's not just telling people what you see and what your perspective is, it's integrated, embodying these lessons. Anything else? That's a beautiful message. I agree. When teachers that I'm very drawn to have integrated their lessons, I can tell they know from experience of what they speak. Versus people that I've met in all sorts of different areas of my life where they have a great idea and it's this amazing idea and this perspective, but they haven't pulled it down into this reality. They haven't integrated this, taken action on this, and shown by their example how to integrate this energy, how to make these shifts, so there's something here about, you might have a great idea, but until you embody it, until you pull it through and act on it, act from these lessons, then it doesn't feel like others can really attune to it, because then you're just talking about theories and shoulds and ideals versus someone who, I'm just saying the same thing, is embodied the energy. So, all right, Virgo, I hope that's helpful. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great day.